Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Great Day Houston. As we continue to unravel this new technology called AI, we're also uncovering potential problems. 20% of high school students say they or a friend have a romantic relationship with AI. 43% of teens say they use AI for advice on relationships with other people. Now, here's the problem. A lot of teens already find it hard to navigate mental health, and sharing with a bot can keep those issues undercover. Our first guests promote the value of human interaction, especially among today's younger generation. Dr. Jenna Rosen and Emily Morris are founders of the Mental Health Society, and Emma Mancarius is the Mental Health Champion of the Year. Good morning.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning.
All right. Okay. When it comes to young people, for so many decades, we just kind of ignored the idea of mental health with them because these are the best years of your life. What do you have to worry about? Well, kids have a lot to worry about, and we've seen that today in news headlines. Every time there's a school shooting with students behind the trigger, it's like, well, they were dealing with this, and this. Hindsight 2020.
Absolutely.
So those problems have always been there, however magnified today.
Absolutely magnified, Deborah. So we're looking at a lot of like postventions right after a crisis. But what we really started to see was around 2010, 2011, the dynamic started to change with adolescent mental health. That's when we got the front-facing iPhone cameras, Snapchat came out, Instagram came out, and the rates of suicidal ideation and teen depression skyrocketed that year. And so we are still dealing with the effects of that today.
Yeah. And of course with social media, you find that echo chamber. If you could say, I'm thinking about this, instead of finding all the people who say, ooh, don't do that, you're finding all the people who say, yeah, me too.
And we see some promising things now with AI and mental health to help the size and the scope of the issue, but it's also really dangerous. There are two boys, a 16-year-old and a 14-year-old, died by suicide within the last year. Their parents testified before Congress in September and said that both Character AI and ChatGPT encouraged their sons to take their own lives and even help them write suicide notes.
But even if AI is saying to do good things, the deal is you cannot replace human interaction.
Exactly, and that's why we founded TMHS.
Yeah, all right. Reality is 1 in 5 children face serious mental health struggles, not just the things like, oh, what should I wear today? We're talking serious health struggles, right?
That's what, 5 to 6 kids in a class? Absolutely.
Yeah, all right. The Mental Health Society and Racing for Wellness, like you said, that's the reason why you found it. Too many students were struggling to access mental health care. So our first struggle was to get people to admit, I've got a problem, right? The second part was, now what if you can't access mental health care?
Breaking the stigma and making it accessible. We provide the opportunity for therapy for 8,500 students in Spring Branch ISD, and we offer 6 months of therapy, no questions asked, with licensed, highly qualified practitioners.
Yeah. All right. When you were a kid, was mental health talked about?
It wasn't talked about. I'm 41 years old now, and we never talked about mental health. I was struggling with anxiety, depression, 2 things I still face today, and a lot of adverse childhood experiences, and they all went, undercover. And I wonder what could my life be like now had they been addressed.
Well, the good thing about it, I say I don't recommend this resume, but you have the sympathy and the empathy because you went through a lot of things as a child, is the reason why you sought your career path.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and you are a PhD.
I am, and a teacher of nearly 2 decades. And so the work that we do in the classroom, and with these two, Emily is my former student, and Emma is my current student at Memorial High School. And these girls inspire me every day. The work that they do, their commitment to the community and to mental health, it's so inspirational.
Yeah. And you're good at what you do. By the way, my son says good morning because of what he went through with ADHD and dyslexia and the whole bit. That's what he wants to be, a clinical psychologist. All right. We talk about the struggles that kids have today. I talked about that sympathy and empathy. Emily, you are a sophomore at that other school down the street, Texas A&M.
Yes.
I went to UT, but anyway, you're studying accounting, but you went through a lot of things that you couldn't explain early on and didn't know how to even express it to anybody.
Yeah, no. I have struggled with generalized anxiety disorder and ADHD my entire life. My ADHD went undiagnosed because women's symptoms they present completely differently than what is shown.
And because a lot of times the boys will have the hyperactivity. It's like you're just not behaving
Exactly, and women are able to mask more to kind of put that down for many years. And then I got to my sophomore year of high school, and my mom and I, we just decided, we were like, okay, it's time to take control of this. And so I went to a psychiatrist, finally got diagnosed, finally got put on medication, and
the right medication, because I know there are a lot of people out there right now who, when I say my son ADHD, and I'm ADHD, right? And, but when I say that, they go, oh, it's just, have you tried a better diet? My son is like, if you put an avocado in his lunch, he's the happiest kid in the world, right? An avocado versus any kind of candy or cupcake. So it wasn't diet. It's a real thing.
Oh, 100%. It's really real, and it's a huge struggle. And when I finally was diagnosed and put on some medication and had some some treatment, like my life completely changed. School got easier. You know, I started this nonprofit. Like I had like the motivation to do this. Like it really causes issues with executive function. And once I finally got the help, I completely just 180'd. And once I 180'd, I realized that I was extremely blessed that I had an accepting family that wanted to listen, and that I had, you know, like I was blessed financially, and so I knew that a lot of people aren't in that position, and so
Absolutely.
I wanted to make that impact on my community.
In fact, we look at the Texas Department of Corrections, and they say like something like 80 to 85% are ADHD and dyslexic. And so when you're in school, you have no options. What do you do?
And think about if you're, you know, if you're an at-risk teen with ADHD, you get 10,000 more negative messages about yourself. Like, Deborah, why can't you sit still? Why do you keep tapping? What's wrong with you? Why are you distracting the class? So of course these kids feel disenfranchised and checked out of school. It's only natural.
Yeah, and Emma, it's in your DNA to help, right? Because for those people who don't know, your mother is Rania Mancari, the CEO of Crime Stoppers Houston, and a lot of these things we just talked about, if you don't tackle it early on, will dovetail into negative behaviors later. So what made you decide to get involved in this in particular?
Well, I was first introduced by the nonprofit by my older sister who had done the Race for Wellness the year before, and me just being a younger sister, that was my first motivation that I needed to get involved. But beyond that, I saw the rise of mental health issues in high schoolers and kids my age, and I saw that the Mental Health Society was doing something that nobody else really does. And they were causing such a great impact because they weren't just talking about advocacy and talking about mental health, but they were doing something about it, and they were giving therapy to students. They were so impactful on both ends of the spectrums. Because you have high school students who are gaining leadership, teamwork, advocacy experience. Then you also have other students who are gaining life-changing access to therapy. So there really wasn't a reason for me not to join growing up in a house.
And this can spark future careers, which we need right now.
Exactly. Yes.
It's one of the top careers that they're looking at that we're kind of don't have enough of.
A huge shortage. I just mentioned, I think it's for every one clinician, there are 320 potential clients in need.
Wow.
So such a huge need. So perfect that your son Duncan is going into this field.
Yeah, all right. What are the things that your peers are dealing with? And the thing is, it's across the board. It's not just kids who come from homes with issues. It can be your 4.0 student who you're thinking you're the head cheerleader, you have everything, but mental health affects everybody.
Yeah, it truly does, especially in this day and age with social media and just school pressure. I see that pressure is a big thing that causes a lot of mental health issues, and people I know who have opened up to me. I know a lot of people struggle with a lot of anxiety, especially around school and such high standards. Even at Memorial, it's such a competitive school. There's such a standard, and it's a lot of pressure to put on a high school kid who's also dealing with so many other things. Of course, there's always family issues, there's other issues, but I think school pressure, the increase in social media has been one of the main reasons, and anxiety is really big.
Because I'm going to tell you right now, that there are people out there who'll say, you're at Memorial High School, what do you have to worry about? Again, this is human issues.
We think that there's two types of families who are dealing with the mental health struggle and those who aren't yet, because 46% of Americans will have a diagnosable mental health condition at some point in their lifetime. It's just a matter of time till it impacts you or your family.
Yeah, and you want to make, this is kind of like the pilot program, if you will, that you would like to spread throughout Spring Branch and every district.
We just finished our second full race. We've raised almost $250,000, and we provide the opportunity for therapy for 8,500 students right now. It's 5 elementary schools, 3 middle, and all
I remember
over
when
one
this
high
was just
school.
an idea.
It was. It started, we were selling Valentine's
2 years ago.
in a crawfish boil, and I thought, I think we can do this. And we are all busy women and involved in many nonprofits and stuff, but when I was working with Emily and Morgan, our co-founder, I thought, these 17-year-old girls can get it done. They have amazing ideas, they have such great intuition, and they've inspired me to continue to grow this organization, and we're looking forward to expanding.
Have you heard from students who were able to get that help and what it meant to them?
I haven't personally heard from students who've benefited from our nonprofit, but I do know students who have gone to therapy, and I've seen the change in their life. I've seen their physical change, their mental change, how much it can genuinely help them, and that's also really inspired me and motivated me to do more work with the Mental Health Society.
Yeah. All right. So you have the Racing for Wellness, but you also have other events that you come up with throughout the year.
Yes, we are actually this spring planning on doing another crawfish boil. We're going to make it an annual thing. It's always such a fun event to bring your kids, your family. We raise money there. We have an auction. And then also we're planning a rodeo run. This was actually Emma's idea, and we are starting to get it in the works. And we are going to do just like a 5K around the Memorial Hedwig Village area, and we're working on that right now, and we're really excited about it.
Okay, all right.
Lots of creativity. Emma planned a mahjong event that was
Okay,
so
if
fun.
it's called mahjong, yeah, you're in. Okay, that was
They
very
raised
smart.
almost $9,000 that morning in a mahjong event.
Oh my gosh.
So
was
beautiful. The
such a lovely
community
day.
partnerships that we've gotten from this have just been fantastic.
Yeah, you would hate me at that event because I ADHD, I'm so confused by mahjong. I just started yelling mahjong over and over again, and finally, by the 5th time, they all went, "You cannot be winning this much." Like, I don't even know what I'm doing. I'll just serve drinks. But anyway, how does a child access these services?
Simply go to our website, thementalhealthsociety.org, and the application takes less than 30 seconds. I personally review it. We then take it to
A professional in the field is
Yes,
reviewing
a
this,
professional in the field is reviewing it, a licensed therapist, and then we refer you to one of our partner practices where our card goes on file and they can get the help that they need.
Thank you so much. You know, so many times we'll hear about what young people are doing wrong. We don't cover enough all the great things that young people are doing right. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And it is not lost on me that it is kind of a maroon jacket that you're wearing. Yes. Anyway, okay. For more information about the Mental Health Society or to learn more about their programs, you can visit thementalhealthsociety.org. Is it your hope that other students on other campuses will also, and teachers and
Yes, we would
professionals?
love to expand this throughout HISD. And Emily's actually going to get a master in nonprofit management at A&M. She's starting that soon so that we can continue to do this. We've committed to do this for life.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, Emily, you and my son can go into business and hang your shingle up. All right. There you go.